Welcome to Overtime a Day, where we talk about relevant construction topics in today's construction industry. I got our COO, Matt Ellis, with me today. Thanks, Matt, for being here.
Of course.
So today, guys, we're going to be talking about a blog that we previously sent out about the 3 phases of quality control. So if you want to go check out that blog and check out some other blogs, go over to ace-consulting.net. We've got a whole archive of blogs there. You can sign up to be on our subscription list. You can get those every week. We normally try to send out 2 to 3 blogs a week there. So if you want to go check that out, go ahead. But today we're talking about enhancing construction quality, understanding the 3-phase inspection model used by ACE. Now, Matt, the quality control is arguably one of the most important portions of a federal construction project. A quality control manager, he can either advance construction or delay construction. There's a lot that goes into that. And the 3 phase is kind of their Bible when you're talking about what they do on a daily basis. So the first phase is the preparatory phase. So with that phase, we have scheduling and long lead items, we have government authority approvals, and we have key personnel. Those are high level overviews. From your perspective as being a previous quality control manager and in the position you are now, what do you think the most important aspects of the preparatory phase are?
I think you hit on the 3 most important. The scheduling of the long lead items is a very critical one. If you're not getting out in front of your long lead items and you come to something needing to be installed in a week or 2 weeks and you have a 6-week lead time, you can see what that could potentially do to your schedule. So getting out in front of it on your prep phase and making sure that you know that you've got those submittals taken care of, you've got them submitted, you've got them into the government, whoever it might be, for approval. You want to get those done as quickly as possible. So that is a critical step on the prep phase. The other one I think that goes without saying there is the key personnel. Having a good project management staff. It's more than just the quality control manager. The quality control program is a litany of people, but having good subcontractors, having good QC specialists, having a good safety officer, all that encompasses everybody. It's a total team effort led by the QC manager, but having good people that are able to go out there, get these submittals approved, get those pushed along, thus continuing to push your project forward.
Gotcha. So with the preparatory phase, obviously, like you just said, that's where we're setting everything up, getting everything approved. And then we move into phase 2, which is the initial phase. So this one, I feel, is where all the nuts and bolts actually happen. So you've got reviewing the phase meeting notes, you've got verifying preparedness, you've got understanding the quality and safety risks, and then the acceptability of initial work. So with this phase, what do you think is the most important aspects to consider when you move from that preparatory phase into the initial phase?
Verification is a big piece of it. We're going to have our preparatory meeting. Our preparatory meeting is going to lay out expectations. It's what we expect, how the work's going to be done, address safety concerns, address safety hazards, anything that might be in addition to all the quality control pieces. When we get into our initial phase, we're going to physically go out and inspect the work. And that's typically done 24 to 48 hours after you have a preparatory meeting, but going out there and actually laying eyes on it and saying, okay, here are all the things that we talked about. Here is the definable feature of work that we put our meeting together on. And here's the expectations that we laid out. We may have gone over rebar placement. We may have gone over something structural steel related. Now we're physically laying eyes on it. We talked about A through Z, and we're going to go down the checklist and we're going to make sure that A through Z is what's been put in place.
Gotcha. Understood. Okay. And now the last phase, phase 3, the follow-up phase. You have monitoring work progress. You've got conducting inspections. You've got reporting and corrective actions. I feel like this phase is, on at least in my experience, has been where things tend to get a little hairy when it comes to the inspections and reporting and corrective actions.
Correct.
So what would you say, as somebody that either is running a government project or that is a quality control manager themselves, would be the most important aspect of the third and final phase?
I think monitoring the work progress and conducting conducting inspections go hand in hand.
Yeah.
The documentation piece of that, which we don't mention, is key. You need to go document all that in RMS. We do talk about reporting and corrective action, but going into RMS, documenting all the inspections that you're doing, creating your corrective action or your deficiency log so that we know, hey, this was not installed correctly. We're flagging that to come back and get that taken care of. Even doubling back to the initial phase, I think one that we overlooked there that is of equal importance is understanding not only the quality, but the safety risk. Safety should be the number one concern out on a job site, any job site. But again, going back to your follow-up, that's where you're really talking about ongoing inspections. So there may be a single definable feature of work, but there might be 15 inspections that are going to need to be required as part of your follow-up phase that are going to go into RMS, making sure you're staying on top of those, getting those put in place, make sure they're all good, and we're delivering the product that we've said that we're going to deliver via the project's specs and drawings.
So for everybody out there that's watching this that may or may not have ever been a quality control manager or worked on a federal job, maybe they're thinking about getting into a federal job and they're thinking right now, okay, if I'm in that third phase and let's say an inspection goes poorly, what happens after that?
So first thing the QC manager is going to do is document that.
Yep.
It's going to document that in RMS in the form. It can be a litany of terms. We can call it a rework list. We can call it corrective action. We can call it a deficiency log. We're going to document that in RMS. You're going to document that in your daily report. That's going to go into your meeting agenda for biweekly QC meetings. So we're going to review that on a repetitive basis. The whole point, the whole thought behind that is that we're putting that in people's faces. It's out there. It's transparent so that everyone can see this was a deficiency and these are the steps that are going to be required to get this fixed. But we can't accept it. So if it was something that's going to go behind drywall, we can't accept it and allow drywall to be put on until that's been inspected and corrected.
Okay. And then one last question in regards to that, talking from the quality control manager's point of view, what happens if something is accepted that is not correct? What happens at that point if the quality control manager says, okay, this is good to go, but it's actually not in accordance with the specifications, maybe something slipped through the cracks? What happens at that point? What is the risk associated with that so people understand how important it is to ensure that you follow the 3-phase process?
First and foremost, you're going to hope that those are significantly avoided. Never want that to happen. Mistakes happen, understandably. The biggest thing I would say is generally you're going to have some sort of additional commissioning or closeout type inspections. It could be a manufacturer's inspection. It could be the inspection of a licensed architect or engineer. So that's a fallback that you have. Generally speaking, if we are forgetting to put something in, the system as a whole is going to fail. And when we go to do our commissioning, we're going to be looking at why this system is failing and then start to do some root cause analysis on what's happening, where we may have had a gap, and isolate that, and then should be able to discover at that point what happened.
Understood. And the interesting thing about this, especially from our experience at ACE, is that while the 3-phase is attributed to USACE specifically, even on commercial jobs or private jobs, you're starting to see more and more people ask for it may not be a quality control manager. It may be somebody else, a different position, but they're essentially going through the same process that is laid out here. So even if you're not working on federal jobs specifically, this is still something good that even if you're residential, it's a good checklist to go through, maybe not as in detail as what it is with the government, but it's still something that's really beneficial to do in order to just ensure that the end user, the owner, is getting the product that they bought in the first place. I think that's all we have for this. If you guys have any questions or anything, go to ace-consulting.net. You can look up this blog specifically. You can also sign up to be on our blog list to get our blogs every single week. If you need a quality control manager, or if you just need assistance in any way with your quality control program or submittals, we'd love to help you out. Give us a call anytime. Work with experts, work with ACE. Thanks, guys.